Hello and welcome back to SketchUp Assist. Today we're going to be talking about the Follow Me tool in SketchUp. And the Follow Me tool is identified by the icon that you can see here on the right hand side. And it's a very valuable tool for extruding materials. A little different behavior than push-pull, a bit more automation is probably the best way to look at it. And can follow more complex shapes. So let's start off with a simple example. Let's start off with just a straight line. Now this is something, what we're going to do now, you could very easily do with push-pull, but it's a very good way to introduce you to the Follow Me tool. Then let's come in here and let's just put some very simple geometry, and thing you'll find is that sometimes a little tricky to get that. There we go. Okay, so we have a profile here. It's a very simple one. Let's go ahead just for the sake of really kind of seeing how this tool shines, and let's just put a little character to this. Nothing fancy, but just so you can kind of see what's happening. And let's go one step further here and put a little opening in this, and maybe 2 inches. Nope, way too big. That's fine. And we're going to click in here and open that up. Okay, so we have our profile here, and we have our path that we're going to follow. The path is designated by this line here. And the way the Follow Me tool works is that you want to come in and you want to select your path, okay, and then you want to select click on Follow Me, and you'll notice that the selection does go away, so don't be too concerned about that. And simply click on the profile that you want to extrude, and SketchUp will extrude that profile along that path that you've identified. And let's maybe go back and make the path a little more complicated here. Again, we won't get too sophisticated in the path here. And what you want to do is grab those, and then if you use the Shift key, at least on a Mac, you can do multiple selections. Now we have our path selected, and we can come in. Again, the selection disappears, but if we click on that, SketchUp will extrude that shape, that profile, down that path. Now, you can get extremely complicated with this. We won't go into much more depth than this, but I do want to call out a specific situation that you may run into occasionally and may cause you some confusion. And that is if you happen to be operating on a group. And so let's take a look at what happens here. So let's come in and once again, let's create we'll just create a very simple geometry this time. And I'm going to click into this and make it a group. Okay. Okay, so now we have the group, and we double click on the group, get the bounding box there, we go into edit mode. Now let's see what happens when we try to use Follow Me here. So if I select my path and I select Follow Me, notice that I get, first off, nothing happens when I click on the profile, but I also get the red circle with the line through it. Now this is indicating that I don't have a valid profile to extrude. Now why is that happening? Well, that is because in order to edit a group, as we talked about in our earlier group video, you actually have to be within the group. And so SketchUp doesn't have a way to modify that group because we're not in edit mode on that group. But there is a way around that. And you may want to actually consider doing this if you're creating a complicated or a complex extrusion, because you do want that to be part of a group ultimately, or generally you will. Maybe not always, but generally you probably will. The way to get around that is this, is you come into the group, you create the path that you want to follow, and let's go ahead and make it a little slightly complicated just to kind of demonstrate. Now we've edited the group. Clearly we're in edit mode on the group. You can see the bounding box. You can actually see the bounding box growing here as we draw more segments. But now what we can do is come in, staying in edit mode. And so let me just to demonstrate this, let's just be clear, right? The way you need to do this is to actually double click into that group to get into edit mode, then select the segments. Okay, we're staying in edit mode. Now if you click on follow me and click on that profile, it will now trace that profile within the group. And so you've edited that group now. Okay. Now you may be thinking, what about that line that's in there? Sure, that line could be a problem. So if you go into X-ray mode, which is K, you can come in and try to find that line. It may be a little hard here in the extrusion. It's part of the edge, so in this case maybe it's not a big deal. Sometimes that follow me path will be in the center. So let's go do one more case here where we demonstrate how you could in fact get rid of that line if it was an issue. So let's come back one more time. We'll just put a simple line this time, and let's get around here so we can draw our rectangle in the proper orientation. And that's not the orientation we want. There we go. And let's make this a group first. And let's shift this group. First off, let's just get rid of this thing here. Okay. So we have a group here. This time, let's pull our line that we're going to extrude. Let's pull it out of the center. So let's select the center here and kind of find a way to get in here and pull this line down here. We'll just keep it a little more simplistic this time. Okay, so now, again, we're out of the group. If we double click in the group, we can tell that our path that we're going to follow was part of that group. That's fine for now. Let's select that path. Let's hit follow me, and let's click on that profile. Okay, now right now we're in X-ray mode, so if I hit K, it toggles us between X-ray mode. I can come in and actually select that line, and I can get rid of it if I want to. Okay, so if that's potentially going to cause an issue with that group, the path that we used, you can come in and delete that if it's problematic. In the first case we did, the path was one of the edges, so it doesn't really present an issue. Okay, and so that's it with follow me. Just keep in mind that when you are performing follow me actions, if you do have a group, then you're going to have to perform that action within the group. Follow me will not work with a segment that's outside of the group, or sorry, a path that's outside of the group. Both the path and the profile need to be in there. The other option is, of course, to create that extrusion before you create the group, and then after it's extruded, you can remove the path if needed, and then convert that geometry to a group. So that's it. Thanks for joining, and good luck.